Hi, everybody. So today we're going to talk about Melania, the movie. There's a lot of hidden comms in there, and we're going to talk about those. I want to bring up how it's connected to the Michael Jackson and the JFK Jr. movie that have just come out. So this is going to be fun because there's a lot in there, and she's just a
Oh,
beautiful person. Yeah.
oh my
So,
God. This is good because I just saw Melania twice. I saw Michael Jackson like a movie twice and half of JFK Jr.
good. I haven't seen either of the other two.
Me neither. Mhm. They sound great though.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they do. And this was Dana's idea. So thank you,
Aw,
Dana. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah.
it was a pleasure. And thank you for everyone that voted for it in the comments as well.
Yeah.
When we
Mhm.
did our first video.
Well, you know what struck me through all three of the movies more so it's more of Melania and JFK Jr. Is the divine feminine, seeing these really strong, beautiful women who really know who they are.
Mhm.
Carolyn and Melania, I was just stunned to see like how detail or they're both very similar archetype personalities. Very detail oriented, very much into fashion, very beautiful, and but carrying themselves and really knowing who they are. I don't know that at that young age that I'm still struggling with that now. I mean, honestly, to be that knowing of who they are and what they want. I mean, she was adjusting her hat, the band on her hat by like a half an inch. That kind of knowing was just blowing
Mhm.
me away.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That part was.
Yeah. Her clothing was really interesting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, they didn't really get into, what I would love to know the real story behind the comms behind the clothes, right? So the decision, like, that when she showed up at the inauguration, it was like the V for Vendetta, the hat and the dress was like Zorro, the Z.
Hmm.
I don't know what you picked up on those.
No, it was all superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And she is the superhero of the children.
Hmm.
So if you think about it that way, like she's been using her clothing for comms about the children for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And it also felt a little bit like Michael Jackson and Lady Diana, honestly, that outfit, the one with the hat. John was like, she looks like Lady Diana. And I was like, she looks like Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then
That's
there's
so
snake shoes that she wears, and she's done that recently, not just in the movie,
Mhm.
which yeah, showing that the snake is on the floor now, or
yeah,
she's stepping on the snake.
stepping on the
That's what I
snake.
got from that. Hmm.
Yeah. And
Very.
also knowledge,
Mm,
Yeah.
the
right.
knowledge, the foundational knowledge
Hmm.
too. Like there's so many meanings. And when Trump came out, it was like, this is the beginning of the golden age. And that was beautiful. And there were several other one-liners in there. And I'm like, oh, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah,
There was
totally.
a lot of you could see how there's a lot of reverence that he has for her.
Mhm.
You could see that even though he's commander in chief, he looks to her
Mhm.
and she's a huge support of his. I don't know that he would, he has to endure a lot. And you could see the trust that they have and the way they look at each other and his sense of humor comes through.
Yeah, she's got a spine of steel, basically.
Yeah.
Like she's
Yeah.
really tough.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at one point he jokes around about her and she just laughs when he's like, she's a pain in the neck. Something towards the end, and I was laughing. But and then I look at their son Baron, he's what, 6'9"?
Probably taller now.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time of the movie they said he was 6'9". I mean, the coat that they had him on was like enormous.
Mhm.
So where does he get his height from? Where do you,
She's Tartarian. He's also definitely has ET DNA,
yeah,
like in a bigger way, like a taller ET, but it, you know, she's Tartarian, he's Tartarian.
yeah,
And his dad is really tall as well. Um, Even though half the time he doesn't look like it because he's, a 2.0 or 3.0
yeah.
or whatever.
But when you look at like he travels through, through the book, where he time travels, those earlier books.
Mhm.
So was she a time traveler as well?
Hmm.
Maybe once or twice. Doesn't feel like all the time. But definitely feels like she had a lot to do with what was going on. She's very amazingly protective.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Mhm.
Mhm. She's a Taurus like me. I get it. The mama bear
Yeah.
comes out. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the movie starts out with the Rolling Stones and those, the song is all about, I was making notes and it was just like rape, murder, war. They fly over Mar-a-Lago and it was just like this whole thing about, this is what they were like coming into,
The chaos.
the
Hmm.
chaos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it's been on the planet.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Well, and then the negativity that was like shown about Michael Jackson and how he's popping up all the time and how she said he's her favorite. So they've obviously been working together and friends for a very long time. And the combination of those three movies,
Mhm.
that's a calm in itself.
Yeah.
And I'll maybe talk about that later, but it's
Yeah,
pretty big. Yeah.
that is. So there's a couple things that popped out for me. There was that Trump bobblehead at the very beginning. I just thought it was
Yep.
interesting because he
In
was
the
so
airplane, in
stoic.
the
Yeah.
cockpit. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then when they reach to the Trump Towers, as they get to the top floor, there's Top FL written on the wall. And you would think, if you're going into Trump Tower, why would you see anything handwritten anywhere on a wall?
Right.
Yeah, and it said top FL for top floor, but
Mhm.
I got top first lady. Like there just
Mhm.
Ah,
is one of those subconscious things that you see and you don't recognize it until you like really look and decode. So that was cool for me. Hmm. There was a red folder too at the
yes.
beginning. Good call. And she's a
Well,
part
also
of.
the invitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
She
And her
really,
kindness to everybody
yes,
was really
both
big.
of them.
Hmm.
Both of them. Throughout the movie, you see them thanking the staff over and over and over again at
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago and the White House.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and there was I saw an interview, something on social media. I think it was even yesterday. It was what's the White House security?
Secret Service?
Secret
Or
Service was
Mhm.
saying, Trump, it was saying Trump ruined me, but it was because he was always concerned, like making sure that they ate and anything wrong with their family, like showing up at their funerals privately, not, as a public display, but how he really honestly does care about the people he's with and who works for him.
Yeah.
Loyalty, I got a sense loyalty is huge for him.
Yeah.
The one thing that struck me though, the first time I saw the movie more so than the second time was the lack of the rest of his children featured in the movie, like because she talks about when he at the towards the end of the movie where she helps him with a speech and she says you're the unifier. And then I thought you don't really see his children, they're just more background players. but this is supposed to be his family. So that kind of struck me a little odd.
Yeah, it feels like his older children are going to play more background roles in the
Mhm.
future. They're
Yeah,
not going to be right out there. And they kind of were prequeling that. They were showing that. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to do a lot of important things. And I think they already are
yeah,
doing a lot of important things. But I don't think they'll be so public in the future.
interesting.
Safety
Some of it's
feels like.
safety, some of it they're just tired of it and they want to have more normal, you know,
Mhm.
lives. And they've been in it for a lot longer, you know, than
Yeah,
like, and Barron's kind of excited about it. You know,
Mhm.
yeah,
he's excited to kind of show who he is and also work with what's coming,
Yeah.
whereas they're not as excited. They
well,
just
he's
want a
young.
break.
He's
Yeah,
what,
yeah, he's young.
20, 21. So he's at just around college where they're already business people. They've already
Yeah.
been through the sludge of it,
Hmm.
and had to deal with the whole 3D construct where he hasn't had so much of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been touched by pain and horror more than
Yeah,
he has. So he's ready to create the new, whereas they just want to take a break, is what it feels like to me.
yeah. It was
Mm.
also interesting to me that they featured Bridget Macron a couple times in the movie too. Even
Or
that
that
they
Zoom
were she
call.
was talking about the children, that they had similar things in common, and I was like, that was really odd that they featured her.
Dana.
Yeah. That felt like central casting. A
Yeah,
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Big.
also think they need to highlight people,
Mm,
you know, and they will highlight at their own detriment.
yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot of people need to remember that because they get really upset, you know,
Mhm.
because humanity looks at everything in black and white, you know, they don't see all the things and they don't forgive very easily. But
Mhm.
I feel like she needed to be highlighted because something will come out about that later in a bigger way. And also, that was being like blasted by Candace during that point. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Mm,
they went after, because even their big thing was about cyberbullying too, and she was being cyberbullied big time. Candace really
mm.
went after. And I don't know what's come of it from all of that, if they've stopped it or that she's still going after her.
Mm, I feel like it's going to come up again later, just like
Yeah,
the loops, you know,
yeah.
it'll come up again when it's time.
Mhm.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah,
No, and
that.
they also brought up like the Palisades fire was featured in there, and October 7th, the wife that was in there, and I guess what people don't know, she was really instrumental in a big part of advocating to get her husband, out. They said that at the end of the movie. She's a lot more behind the scenes, but working really hard behind the scenes. And
She
they
is. She's
also,
like the quiet strength.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even like the Queen of Jordan came in, they were talking about foster children, all
Yeah.
these children who don't have parents, and they said only 3% of the foster children actually go on to higher education. That's a really low number, because they don't
Hmm.
have the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then they also featured her father filming.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was interesting.
It was
So
important. Yeah.
Mhm.
anything on that, like why they brought that in?
Well, I think her heritage is going to be really important in the future. So the love of her mother the amount of strength that she gained, from learning from her mother is going to
Yeah.
be very important. And also, her genetics, whether they're her true parents or not,
Mm.
it's really important that her genetics be brought to the surface. So, because she is, you know, the last of a huge line of Tartarian people, so it's important because she's going to be recognized for that, I think.
Yeah.
And the role that Princess Diana was playing for a long time, who it feels like she doesn't really want to play anymore, even though I think she is here. Um, I feel like she's just wants to be
Peace.
quiet and peace, have peace. That will be more Melania's role, um, because she is royalty, Tartarian royalty. So what will that mean? It just means she's gonna lead by example in big ways.
Hmm.
And I do believe that Michael Jackson will return, at least on this timeline that we're on right now. And pretty much most of the timelines, he returns, and so does JFK Jr. So all of these people that have been put into protection will come back, a lot of them.
Well, I
Yeah.
think about the idea of all of them had been mobbed, didn't have their own lives. Who would want to come back to that, honestly? I mean, not
Yeah.
being able to go to the grocery store, not being can't go to a restaurant, everywhere you go. That's a tough life to come back to.
I don't think they'll come back to that kind of life. I think they'll come back to showing what has happened, to almost like making documentary type information happen.
Yeah,
I don't see them going on like, we're going to appear over here and over here and over here. I don't see them constantly in the public eye. Um, but
Hmm.
they need to show back up because this has been their baby for a long time too. And they want people to know what's actually happened. And that's going to be a big, that's a huge thing to do, is to say, we're here and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the part of losing her mother, I think on a surface level that picked up a lot of people's grief because a lot of people have lost
mm,
people, loved ones. And also St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, I had the privilege of being able to walk through it. Very Tartarian. You feel it
yes,
when you walk in.
yeah,
And that was the subconscious level of exposing her as, Tartarian.
Mhm.
And it was happening at the same time where she lit the candle and did all the things there. I thought
yeah.
that was really interesting how they
They
tied
they
that
spent
in.
a lot of time in that church, like
Yeah.
for the amount of time, because usually those are like a quick 30-second thing where they would show her, but she spent time there. She spent time with the priests and
Mhm.
praying for her. It was interesting because the priest did something with his hand. I noticed like making this kind of a movement, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is.
I would look at the mudra and I'm sure that it probably has a symbol
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah. And it might not even be a great symbol, depending on, you know, who he is in that church.
right. That
Yeah.
was I found really interesting. She's very stoic,
Mhm.
though. It's like that one point she breaks out towards the end and she's singing YMCA and doing that, and she sings a little bit of Billie Jean. But other than that, she's just very, I don't want to say robotic, but very stiff.
Well, I think the abuse that they've suffered
Yeah,
has really pushed that.
yeah.
She was always kind of stoic, private,
Hmm.
and also think about, does she know who she is? How long has she known who she
Yeah,
is? It's a huge responsibility to carry that. And I
Yeah.
think, her and JFK Jr. and Trump and a lot of these people that have been in key like places, they've carried so much weight on their shoulders because basically we've been in the middle of the biggest spiritual war in the world ever,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty big.
We're at ground zero,
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
under the former dome.
Why do
Hmm.
you think they felt the need to do this movie about the 20 days before the um oh my God.
Inauguration.
Inauguration.
Thank you. It was an I word. It was coming.
Mhm.
Why do you think they chose that as the topic and the timing, all of it, um, to feature that?
I think they needed to show him as well, and they
Hmm.
needed to show what the purpose was of all of this. And they'll
Yeah.
people will look back at it, and say, "Oh, that's what they were doing." But also, all these movies came out it's like very quickly together.
Yeah.
And it's showing us they're seeding the consciousness for these people to be reintroduced in different ways. So
Yeah.
for her, she's going to take a more public role than she's had before.
Mhm.
And she may share a lot of the true history of the world.
Oh, the Tartarian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
you
would
know.
be amazing.
Yeah, and in the commercials for the movie, she one of the biggest things that pops out is she looks to the camera and she says, "Here we go again." And
Yes.
as we know with comms in the 17 posts, mirrors are very important. Doing things twice
Mm.
Mhm.
for whatever reason is very important. Also, trifectas are very important. Like when um, Trump, they're videotaping him with all the generals and their wives, and he says, "This feels like the calm before the storm." He says it 3 times.
Mm.
And three is like one of those big magical numbers, almost like the word abracadabra.
Yeah.
So there's something about bringing three movies together at the same
Yeah.
time and having mirrors.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And if you think about the way we've been functioning since 2020, we've
Mhm.
been looping and looping and looping and refining. And we finally are in a space now where everything is at the surface. Now, when does it bubble up and kind of boil over? We have to see because that's a lot of that's up to us. But you could feel, how much this split is happening now, which is going to speed things up.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're back to a 1 year. We started a 1 year with 2016, and now we're
Yeah.
in 2026, which is
26.
also a 1 year. So we've completed this huge 9 year, 10-year cycle where we're starting over again. And a lot happened in 2016 and 2017. There's
Yeah.
Yeah,
been
and
so
what's
much happening.
interesting, there's a form of
Mhm.
numerology that I studied. It's a West African form of numerology, and um, so a 7 year is fire. So 2017, everything was burning down. And it's also about the phoenix and resurrection. So
Mhm.
27, we're going from the 6 year to the seven. So that's where hopefully we'll go into the phoenix and the phoenix rising.
That
Yeah.
energy is here. It's ready.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, that's yummy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and just to touch into the Michael movie, it was interesting because it's split into two parts. So they end it, but they talk about there's a lot about um when he caught fire doing the Pepsi commercial. His father was enormously abusive and
Hmm.
controlling. um, he burned the top of his head, and they started saying about the nerve endings might not ever heal. And they had him on all kinds of painkillers, and he kept talking about how he didn't want to be on all these painkillers. So they don't go into that. There's nothing, no talk in this part of the movie about addiction. But I'm wondering if the second part is going to get into the medical system and pain and how you think about how many people were addicted to pain pills and how, that whole thing, like the Purdue family end up getting arrested for pushing all those pain meds on people and getting them addicted.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot, I think, that comes out with the second movie, and he may even come out with the second movie.
Ooh.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting.
I was thinking that because
Yeah.
I know this was about Melania, but in the movie, they didn't quite get to the point where everyone turns on him. It's really about the first part of the movie is about his meteoric rise to stardom and how
Mhm.
he gets there. And,
Mhm.
then you've got the media after that, how they just ripped him to shreds. I just saw this where they talked about Michael Jackson during the Super Bowl. If you remember, he paused for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the cabal would do is whenever there was an event, they needed the energy all fired up so they could do their sacrifices and do what they needed. And he held off because it had to be done at a certain time.
Wow.
And the courage it took for him to do that and how they punished him after that because they missed that time frame
Amazing.
and the amount of buildup that goes into the Super Bowl and getting that energy charge. And yeah, he wasn't having it. But I wonder, like, could his father, because he was so ruthless, would his father have sold, could he have sold his soul for him? Do you know what I mean? Like, can parents do
He
that?
didn't sell Michael's soul. He couldn't do that. No. Um, but he could have sold his own.
Yeah, feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of his albums, Escape. And
Yeah.
I never looked at the albums, the covers, but wow. Escape, obvious. And
Yeah.
then his face looks like Saturn.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the planet of, undoing and all of the negative lower octaves of Saturn. But very interesting. There's so much comms in his work. Very.
Well, and he told everybody that history was fake, that
Mm.
we were being lied to.
Yep.
He had that song about Diana Ross, Dirty Diana, because he
Oh,
Oh,
lived
yeah.
with her for a while and he was abused there,
mm,
because he was a young teenager. I want to say like 13, maybe 14. So that was going on. And then all of his songs towards the end were about humanity.
yeah. Healed.
So,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
They show him a lot in the movie, like sitting in when he burned in the burn unit with all the children and sitting with them and signing autographs and spending time with them. Like, what a beautiful heart he had. And what's interesting is they didn't feature two of his sisters. All the brothers are featured in the movie, and they show Reba. No, Latoya, but Reba and Janet Jackson are not even mentioned in the movie. They're not in there at all.
Interesting.
Mm. Well, and Latoya was not great for him, you know.
Yeah.
So, and she redacted what she said, later, but there's a lot of stuff with him. He was probably the biggest proponent for humanity that was like a movie star or
Mhm.
you know, a superstar. He was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, and his heart is really, truly beautiful. So people are going to be really happy to see him again. Gesundheit.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, and you could see like his voice had like a spell on people in a good way. Like you
Yeah.
see people passing out and, freaking out and, all of that. And
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of their own nervous system. And they were doing that with Elvis and
oh, the Beatles.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm sure the frequencies got messed with,
Yeah.
during those shows
Yeah.
so that they could extract a lot of energy. But yeah, I mean, everybody's equal, you guys. Nobody's more special than anybody else. And some people really just kind of take whatever their purpose is to the next level. And Michael was definitely doing that. But yeah, when people
Well,
are fainting and doing all that, I'm like, calm down. It's
well,
okay.
he had such extraordinary talent, and his
Yeah.
nephew, Jafar, who's his brother Jermaine's son,
Mhm.
trained for 2 years for that part.
Yeah.
And he emulated him, his walk, his build, his looks, everything. It's really amazing how hard he worked on that. But I know getting back to Melania, one thing you talked about her clothes. And they didn't really go into, like, I would love to really know the behind the scenes of how they chose her clothes and what those comms were. Because I remember the obvious one was the Jackie O Tiffany blue suit that she wore at the
Oh,
first
yeah.
inauguration.
Mhm.
But I
Hmm.
remember there was a jacket that she wore that said "I don't care." She was getting up on an airplane. Do you remember that? And there was all this controversy because it was just coming out about children, and people were saying that she said she didn't care or whatever. It was in the very beginning, but it was like a graffiti-like jacket, very unlike something you would see her wear, and it just said "I don't care" on the back.
Yeah,
And
that
I
was
remember,
different. That was just for the cabal. That's what I'm getting.
oh, is that what it was?
That message
Okay.
was just for them. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't care. Yeah.
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 I think Juan O and then at Savin, he's talked
Hmm.
about how in the olden days they used flags
Yep.
to communicate. And because they
Yep.
didn't have a flag, her dresses became the flag.
Yeah.
So certain colors, certain ways that she wore her outfits, that is how they were communicating.
And the mastery of the designer that had to say, they had to say, okay, here's the calm. You have to create something. They had to create something together that was beautiful, but still got the message across. And they probably didn't have a whole lot of time to create these things either.
No, and I don't know if he always knew what the calm was.
Well, yeah, but just this is what
Yeah,
we need.
this is
Hmm.
what we need. Yeah. They just love her because she's really good to people,
Yeah.
you know. Um, yeah, but everybody was great in the movie. Like you could tell that everybody was treated very well. And just the whole thing was pretty amazing. And I sat there and watched the whole thing, and John sat there for half the time and watched it too, even though like it's totally not his style of a movie.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it was great. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was
Yeah.
really great.
What was your take on, because I keep going back to her and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy around bringing in the divine feminine, like really exemplifying what that looks like.
Well, I mean, she's Generation X, and I
Yeah.
think that some of the baby boomers and Generation X have really pushed this awakening, so she's really showing the strength of women and
Hmm.
how much women have contributed to this awakening. That's
Yeah.
what I would say. That's what it
Yeah.
felt like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
It,
one of my
yeah.
biggest. Oh, go ahead.
No, the only thing I was going to say is the one thing I kept repeating through this entire past 10 years now, it's almost, or seven, yeah, was where are the men?
Yeah.
Where are the men? It was almost all women leading the charge. There
They
were
couldn't
there
relate
were
to it. They couldn't
Yeah.
see it. Yeah. Go ahead, Dina.
One of the biggest takeaways that I got from the movie is they could have put anybody out first in the movie theaters, but they picked Melania.
Mm,
So it was a nod to all the women that are actually awake. And, I'm a part of Connecting Consciousness. So when I go to events, it's mostly women. Sorry, boys and men. Sorry. But that was like a nod to the females that started the
Mhm.
charge, that created the almost like second scouts. Like the first scouts came in and cleared the way, and it was hard for
right.
them. And like a lot of them committed, unaliving to themselves, so suicide. But we're like the second scouts for the Great Awakening. So I feel good about that. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
there are still a lot of
There's a lot
wonderful
of men
men,
too.
and
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
but when,
But
yeah,
it's majority women.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
audience especially.
Yeah.
Love you.
On the ground. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have more talking heads and men taking the role of the podcast and things like that. But when we would go to, let's say, the State House or any kind of thing or meetings about anything, it was always 90% women.
Hmm.
The boots on the ground was women, has been women. But I'm looking forward to seeing that all equal out and to see more men showing up. It's interesting. I have a friend of mine who I reconnected with yesterday, and I ended up doing an interview with her. She's from India, and we studied together, and she was back in India, and she was talking about the toxic masculinity, and it's the rape capital of the world, and how much she struggles with all these different male, she calls it, what is it, the man trap, the, anyway, I can find it, but anyway, she was really amazing when she really identified these 10 different type of personalities, and what she deals with on a regular basis in that toxic 3D world in India. I mean, are they all like NPCs at this point, that huge population? What's going to happen with the bifurcation?
A lot of people are going to go. So one thing I wanted to say before we get too far away from it, a
Yeah.
lot of women, so a woman's body, a lot of them have a masculine leaning soul. So that is the balanced combination of the warrior that came
Mm,
in. So when you think about the women and how they stood up and how long they've been working on this and how they've been basically really not given up whatsoever, it's also because of the soul that inhabits their body.
Hmm.
yeah.
So it's a big part of it too. And that's important to remember. And that is balanced.
Uh, Thank you for that. Because yeah, I mean, I
That's
know
good.
you and I have talked about that my soul tends to be more masculine, which cracks me up.
Well, and mine is too.
Yeah.
And, when you figure that out, and it takes a while to figure out who your soul is. So, if you haven't figured that out, it's okay. But you do figure it out, and okay, this is why when I get out of whack, if I'm irritated, or whatever, like power comes in. It's
Hmm.
not like, oh, I'm so sad and everything, it's like, ooh, you know, you're in trouble. And
Flash
that's
and burn.
masculine coming through,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
know. So, um, a lot of women have a masculine soul, and that's really made a big difference in this movement. And that was planned. The universe planned that to push
Wow.
this forward because you have the masculine soul that is pushy, that is not going to back down. And you have the three lobes in the brain where they can see everything.
Hmm.
So you have a brain that can support that energy. So it became very balanced. Yeah.
That's interesting. Another way to look at it is once you find out about everything that's been happening under our feet, parts of your soul that experience that in past lives start tugging on you. And for whatever reason, the majority of that demographic is females. And that's why it was so easy to wake up at the beginning when nothing was being talked about on mainstream media about, you heard about save the children, but you didn't hear about everything. You had to dig. And it was the people that knew they had to dig deeper and deeper to
Yeah.
get to the truth. They could not watch Fox and CNN
No.
for the truth. Then you just knew it. Deep down in your core, you knew it. And then you found Honey and Lisa and myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but the
Mhm.
split is going to be huge and you could feel it over the weekend.
Mhm.
So, this will probably, I don't know when this will air, but it'll air soon. But over Memorial Day weekend, we had a bigger split. Like, and I keep saying it's like when you're splitting wood because that's what I used to do as a kid. You know, I was splitting wood
Hmm.
and I had a wood stove and all this kind of stuff. But when you get to the point where you actually have to pull it apart, it won't come apart. We're right there.
Yeah.
And as those lower timelines fall away and that consciousness ascends without the body, then there won't be any more resistance. But right now, the resistance is huge because all of those ideas are fighting for attention.
Mm.
Mhm.
So it's a pretty big drama at the moment. And I definitely like to stay out of it.
No, but it is, I find that it's interesting because people are really stressed right now and really struggling. And I find that I'm at a place of complete peace,
Me too.
which I'm shocked. But I'm not going to bring anything on. But I just feel like I just trust everything, and everything just feels so like the calm in the middle of the storm.
Mhm.
It feels like that for me. But I do like get hit with waves of exhaustion. Like all of a sudden I'll get hit with, I'm so tired I can't even open my eyes. And then I'll get this acceleration of energy, and then I'm exhausted again. It's been this wave that's happened all weekend.
It's to do with the Schumann. It has to do with programmings coming out of the body, ideas that we don't need anymore. We've landed in the fifth dimension, and I
Hmm.
see it as like a fog, fog of light. It's gold and it's beautiful. And I did a short little show about it on YouTube, but basically we're in that soup now. Are we necessarily participating in it yet? No. But a lot of us are dipping into it and dipping out of it, and we're letting go of more and more that's in the way of that. And people that can't resonate with that, they're hard to be around, and they're being affected in a more negative way by it because it's consciousness that is irritating to them. Whereas to us, it's like a safe haven, feels like home, you know. But the exhaustion is the programming leaving the body. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I've heard a lot about that. People talking about all whatever the old stuff is coming up, and it's not for us to react to anymore. It's just
mm-mm.
to observe. And I even saw something coming up, and I was like, "That's interesting." I thought that I was done with that. Even this morning in meditation, I was like, "Just go, go." Time for you today.
Yeah.
Family drama. I'm like, go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need that.
Mm-mm. We don't need it anymore. So,
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I
no.
think Melania had so many boundaries set up
Yes.
in the
Mm-hmm.
movie, and she knew exactly what she wanted, just like you said,
Yeah.
Lisa. And it was very precise. And it's a little nod for us to do that as well in our lives, to have the boundaries, to be precise, to go that extra mile. to
Yeah.
feel good. Some people wear the high heels and the makeup and all the things to feel good. You don't necessarily need all of that, but
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of mirror work in the morning. What what do you need to do to feel good? I got that as a takeaway. Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always hear Trump emphasizes looks and appearances a lot. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but he's always talking about that person's handsome, they're good looking, they're beautiful, the way that, and he insisted on his, like, even Barron wore a suit like to school every day. Like, he always wears a jacket and tie. He's all about presentation.
Very old school, but we have to
Yeah.
remember how old he actually is. So,
Yeah.
right, so he was raised in a different era because he's almost 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also it's very Tartarian
Mm.
Mm.
because they were, I mean, look at the Victorian era.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the
Those are
hats and the
Tartarian
suits.
clothes. Those are not like pilgrim clothes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's Tartaria.
It's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Mhm. And the
It's
hats
so
they
interesting.
wore.
Yeah.
My parents are in their 70s, and when they travel, they always dress up. And my
Yeah.
dad will wear a jacket, and people think he's a lawyer or a doctor, and he gets treated differently. So
Mhm.
it's definitely that age group as well.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if I go to town, there'll be people in their pajamas at Walmart or whatever, or in the grocery store.
Mhm.
And to me, that's horrific. Like, I would never
I
wear my
can't to
pajamas, but I mean, to a lot of people, that's just normal.
Mhm.
I
And I
know.
love my sweatsuits. Like, I'll run around in my tie-dye sweatsuit in town and I don't care, So to be put together is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. It shows that you have self-respect, especially when it's an event and you want to feel nice and look nice. Yeah.
I see an intentional move to take beauty out of our society.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I remember, like, my grandmother was really big into fashion, and she was a flapper. She used to win dance contests with my grandfather, and she was always about how you look. And my mother was that way. It's in my lineage. My son won best dressed, my father won best dressed. Like, it's all in the family. That was just how I was raised, of dressing a certain way and looking a certain way. And I look at what's happened to our society. It's almost, the younger kids, like, Vogue came out quarterly for the different seasons. It was like, the Bible, we would go out and we would look at it and get all excited. And even the new cars, like these beautiful cars would come out and people would go crazy. It's like everything looks the same. Like, one season to another, it's all the same now. They've
Mhm.
taken that excitement and the beauty. Like, such a difference when you walk into a house that's decorated beautifully, or colors, how you feel
Mhm.
versus just a box. It really does impact beauty, and art and all that has a huge impact on our psyche.
Yeah.
And that's the wave of the future is art and beauty and, self-respect and self-love and caring about who you are and all that is going to be huge. And it's already emerging.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Did you have anything left that you wanted to say, Dana?
One of the last takeaways I got from this is that Melania is one of the few biological females that's first lady. And
I didn't even
it
think
was
about that.
very underlying, but I think at President Carter's funeral in the movie, they lined up all of the first ladies. And that's when it dawned on me, like, oh, they want us to know about that too, don't they?
Wow, yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. And it's also interesting at the very end when they were the comment that Trump made about having to be in the car with Biden, when they go to the inauguration, you go, that'll be an interesting car ride. Um, After that, they posed for photos, I think, in front of the White House. And there's one point where President Biden like leans over, leans forward. And you could almost see his mask, like his whole face rumpled up. It didn't even look like him. I remember it was like a scary mask that showed up. And it reminded me of the movie Up, like the old man in there, like his whole face just scrunched up, and I was like, whoa. And they zeroed it, like you could see it front and center in that movie, and I was like, oh wow, it was really clear there.
Mm.
Because when before they went into the whatever you call that, the room where everybody
The
was,
the rotunda?
yeah, before they
Yeah.
went in, he looked more normal. Biden looked more normal. He didn't
Yes.
look like himself, but he looked like it was a normal face. And
Yeah.
then as soon as they opened the curtain and he walked in, I was like, oh, now he's the robot guy. Like he looks really crazy. Yeah.
Mm.
No,
So,
it was it
so
was he was
funny.
kind of creepy.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's so interesting about the women. Didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Michelle is going to be outed soon?
I think she just got outed
Oh yeah?
by
Mm.
one of her children, supposed children.
Oh, I missed that.
That's all over social media. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
need to get back on. I've been trying to take a break.
It's good to take a break. It's not important stuff,
No.
but it's, yeah,
It's hard to keep up with. Yeah.
it
I
is.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
It is very busy.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we got a chance to do this because we talked about doing it a while ago, and we finally had a chance to do this. But
Yeah.
is there anything that we've missed, honey? Like any specific comms that you saw like through the movie that we haven't touched upon?
If there are, I've forgotten what they are. Oh, I think we hit on the important stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the chunks.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
did talk about redesigning Camp David. There was a little
Yeah.
blurb in
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
I think that is also a comm saying Camp David is gone because that wasn't a nice place.
Mm-mm.
It,
And whatever was underground is gone.
right.
It's interesting because I remember, was it Jimmy Carter and Clinton? They were always talking about Camp David. It was in the news constantly. And the past 10 years, I didn't really hear about Camp David. Did you? I don't even think they went there.
They they didn't
Oh,
want to go there. It feels nasty. That place feels nasty. And they have
yeah.
Mar-a-Lago, so why would they go to Camp David?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
Hmm.
This was
know. Where
great.
did where
Oh,
did Camp David date? Where did that come from? Does anyone know? I'm just curious why it was called Camp
it
David.
feels like it was already there and they just decided
Mm.
Okay.
with the first presidents, the
Yeah.
earlier ones, that would be like an escape place for them that they would talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it already existed.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because there were presidents before Washington, but we don't
I
hear
had
about
heard
them.
that. I had
Yeah.
heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they all had, almost all of them had dark skin
I was just
and were
gonna say they were
Tartarian.
all
Yeah.
Tartarian. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
Hmm.
And they were mostly Republican, or I'm not sure if there was a party back then.
I don't feel like there was a party.
No.
Well,
Mm-mm.
there's those who say Abraham Lincoln was Tartarian.
Yeah, he was.
He was a
And he
Moor.
was big, like
Yeah.
tall. He was very, very tall. Yeah.
I
So
can't. This is
Mhm.
so cool.
this was great. Thank
I
you guys
know.
so
So
much.
fun.
Thank
Yeah, let
you.
Yeah.
us know how you felt about it in the comments or if you picked up on other things that we didn't. We would love to hear about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.